What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music, and today I'm going to be doing another recent record pickups video. I haven't really sat down and listened to an album other than the Nas review that I did a little while ago, but hopefully after this video I will get back into Raw Select record reviews after this. But today I do feel like that I've got some real gems to talk about. So I wanted to share these guys with you, and as always, head over to my WordPress or Steemit blogs, because that's where I always include the audio links so you can check out any of the records that I talk about in this video. So with that out of the way, let's get into some of my recent record pickups, because, ooh lord, I think I got some real gems this time around. First off, we've got some Timian Records action going on here. This is I Can't Love You Anymore, with Carlton Jamel Smith. But the main reason that I picked it up is because Cold Diamond and Mink, one of my favorite funk and soul backing bands at the moment, did the instrumental for this record. I like the vocals on here, but there's something about Cold Diamond and Mink's sound that I just gravitate towards. So anytime that I get the chance to pick one of these guys up or pick up a record from these guys, I'm always about it. And yeah, it's as you can tell by my little label right there, it's pretty slow, 72 beats per minute, or about 72 beats per minute. And yeah, it's a nice little addition to my collection, because I love these guys' work, and hopefully they keep putting out more solid instrumental funk and soul. Love the drums on this too. I'm just gonna keep going. This was well, oops, I guess I got shifted around. This is my first Coal Mine record. I've been interested in this label for a while, but they hadn't really put out anything that screamed essential. But this was on sale, and I got it for dirt cheap. It was like $9. And yeah, it's just more solid funk soul revival music. It's instrumental. One side's a little bit more, has a bit of an Afro-funk sort of feel to it, so there's that real Fela Kuti shuffleness to the drums. And it's just another solid funk 45, so if you ever see this, grab this guy. And then this one, one of my favorite European reissue labels recently. These guys, the Esteban, I'm not sure how to say this. But yeah, this is some just really good like library jazz funk. And one track's a bit more of a stomper. This guy right here, as you can see, is about 92 beats per minute. And then the other one is a lot more like a typical library funk track, library jazz funk track, where it's got lots of it's got lots of arrangement, lots of strings, and it just generally feels like it should be used as a soundtrack to a movie, which is generally what library music was used for. And I think this was another record that was like a listening station, so it was gently used, so they priced it down, and I was more than happy to jump on that for, yeah, just getting some more good, obscure jazz funk. So I'm always happy to add these guys to my collection. And then this was another one that was dirt cheap, as you can see, listening sample. This is from Tramp Records, the German reissue label. Not to be confused with Trump Records. I don't know if that's really a thing. God knows what's in those Trump records. But anyways, this is Gene Anderson. And Gene Anderson does some just really good up-tempo soul funk. Not really much else to say about this, except it's funky as hell, and I'm glad that I picked it up. It says $14.50 on it, but it was definitely cheaper than that, and that was the main reason that I grabbed it. And then last, oh my gosh, I fucking got it before it sold out. This was $145. The moment that I heard that it was getting put out, I knew I had to grab it. And that was because I knew it was in very limited quantities. And I was checking Jet Set Records every day waiting for the release of this, because I knew the moment that it dropped, it was going to sell out immediately. And sure as shit, I was right. But I managed to get my order in at the same time as everybody else, and I managed to get it. Because one problem with ordering, I do COD. Japan is one of the crazy few places where you can actually still do COD, which is, I don't know about the rest of the world, but at least in America, you can't do that anymore. Or if you can, it's really for select services. Anyways, I'm rambling. The record that I picked up was this Street Corner Music. This is Stro Elliott, sold to Stro, backed with the Egyptian Way, which these are both old Stro Elliott beats, but any chance that I can get to buy this sort of instrumental hip-hop on 7-inch, I always leap at the opportunity. And Sold to Stro, still one of my favorite beats from Stro Elliott. But the Egyptian Way, I heard a while ago, and it's not on the Street Corner Music compilation that they put out in 2016. So I was really happy to get another Stro Elliott track added into my collection. And if you can still pick this up, definitely grab it. Stro Elliott is still in my top 5 modern recent beat makers. Maybe not modern, but yeah, if you run across this, this is an absolute sure shot. But what else would you expect from Street Corner Music? Because they are the kings of instrumental hip-hop right now. Okay, now let's get into some of the 12 inches and LPs that I've picked up recently. And one that it hasn't been sold out. It's actually been available for a while, but since I'm not really doing house music gigs all that much anymore, I did sort of fell to the wayside for a long time. But the more I started listening to little clips of it, I realized that I needed to add it to my collection. And that is the Heist Recordings Roundup Volume 4, that came out last year. And I gotta say, as a fan of every single Heist Recordings Roundup record compilation that they've put out, this is by far the best sounding one. Or at the very least, it is the most dance floor friendly out of all the compilations that they've put out up until this point. And if you're unfamiliar with the Heist Recordings Roundup series, essentially they get all the artists who have released music for that year and have other artists from the label remix them. And generally, the remixes work as a great complement. I wouldn't say they overtake the originals, but they generally work as a pretty good alternative to all the releases that came out that year. So the stuff that I've heard, absolutely love from this, and I can't wait to play this out because while I've said it is definitely the most dance floor friendly of all of their roundups up until this point. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it sounded really, really good. One record that I had been really curious about from the beginning of the year, or at least somewhat close to the beginning of the year, was this guy right here, Endless Light by Space Ghost, released on Tartlet Records. And I was really curious. I've been wanting to get sort of back into electronic music. I haven't really been listening to it all that much. And I just really liked what I was hearing on this. It had a bit of like a vaporwave sound meets sort of old school house music. And it really felt like this was something that I could get into. I can't really say that much about it because I haven't really dove in all that deep on it, but the little bits and pieces that I've heard from this record, I'm really, really liking what I'm hearing. And I can't wait to dive into this a little bit more. And hopefully it'll kind of get me back into electronic music, because I feel like I've sort of neglected that genre for a while and have been way too focused on hip-hop, jazz, funk, and soul. But I love those genres so dearly, it's hard to break away from them. And then, one record, oh my gosh, I can't believe this came back into stock. Now, about 4 years ago when I started really getting into instrumental hip-hop and I was looking at anything that I could possibly find, one record that I stumbled across was the Beach Boys versus Jay Dilla, produced by this guy named Bullion. And anytime that I find like an MP3 or a YouTube video about something, I always make sure that I can try to find the vinyl. And it had been sold out for a while, because I think this record originally came out, doesn't even say, honestly. Yeah, there is not a date on this whatsoever, but I'm sure I can find it later. But anyways, long story short, after waiting and waiting, I finally managed to get it. Bullion presents the Beach Boys versus Jay Dilla, and I mean, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's instrumental hip-hop with the Beach Boys as the sample source, and this works way better than it has any right to. It's definitely got some crazy hard drums on here, some fantastic sample chops, and while I wouldn't say it's quite as Dilla-ish as it purports, it's still totally worth it. And I also love the fact that it came on this super lovely green vinyl for the limited edition. I jumped on this one as quickly as I possibly could because I had a pretty strong feeling it was going to sell out pretty quickly. Doesn't look like that was the case, but at any rate, I'm happy to add this to my collection. And if you want the Raw Select shorthand review of this record, buy this motherfucker. This record is so good. And speaking of records that you need to buy, oh my god, this was one of my most sought after records for the longest time. The moment that I found out what this record was, I knew I had to have it in my collection. And that was largely due to, and let's see if I can find that guy real quick. I know I took it out earlier. Alright. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Alright, anyways, but one of the first hip-hop tracks that I ever fell in love with, like really fell in love with, that wasn't straight up backpack underground sort of stuff, because I used to listen to a lot of like Danger Mouse or Def Jux, the sort of really nerdy underground shit. But one of the first tracks that I got super excited about was Ghostface Killah's Be Easy. And I have a 12-inch of it somewhere. I can't find it at the moment. I'm too lazy to look for it on camera. But when I found out years later what was the sample source for that track, I found out what the record was. It was sold out for the longest time. I had a feeling that nobody would ever reissue it, and that it was going to cost me a pretty penny to ever buy this record. But it was always the one album that was in the back of my head that I was going to pick it up the moment that I saw it, and it would probably pay whatever ridiculous cost it would be in Japan to buy it, because I know it is a pretty expensive record. But thankfully, Mr. Bongo, the lovely guys over at Mr. Bongo, reissued it, so I don't have to pay an arm and a leg to buy it. And that fucking album is this guy, The Silvers 2. I love this record. This is, if you want my honest opinion, I like Jackson 5 a lot. But the stuff on here, it's funkier, it's so more, the arrangements I feel are just as interesting. I absolutely love this record, and as you can see from the sticker there, this record has been sampled by just a whole slew of people. And yeah, it's just one of those really good, semi-obscure, but not really that obscure, kids funk and soul records. And if you ever come across this, be it the reissue or the original, buy this record. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're a fan, a hardcore fan of funk and soul like me. Plus, it's got this really nice, just shiny cover that you want to pet. You want to hold it. Maybe make love to it. Excuse me for a second. So that's going to be it for me today. Thanks, as always, for watching. As always, head over to my WordPress or Steemit blogs, because that's where I put the music links for any of the records that I talk about, be it these recent record pickups videos or my Raw Select record reviews. As well as, if you're not, the Raw Select music thing that I've been doing for the past 3 years, well, actually almost 4 years now. Wow, Jesus. Essentially, throughout the week, I'm finding and highlighting tracks that I think are worth checking out and could potentially lead towards me buying an album in the future that I can use for a Raw Select record review. So if you want to know what I'm doing when I'm not making YouTube videos, always head over to my WordPress or Steemit blogs, because I try to get content throughout the week. As well as, I just finished a new DJ mix. This is a non-Raw Select radio show mix, so it's just music, no talking, no commentary. And I should have that up by the beginning of next month. I'm going to sit on it for a little bit longer and wait until the event that I have coming up this week is finished, and after I've passed out CDs. But who knows, I might actually get it up sooner than that. And hopefully, after I get it up on Mixcloud, I will start doing new Raw Select radio shows, so you can look forward to those, which I should have coming out at a fairly regular basis. I'm hoping to, once again, get back to it at least twice a month, but we'll see how that goes. Life has a strange way of keeping me from getting anything done. And then finally, and this is the one thing that I'm super excited about, is that I hopefully, assuming that my finances work out, I should be getting a camera. So no more using my web camera to do these videos or any other videos. I won't be using my phone because, for whatever reason, my phone and my computer don't like talking to each other. I think they had a little bit of a fight. And taking higher quality videos, and hopefully taking more stuff where it's not just me sitting in front of my records. Although I do love my records dearly. So dearly. And hopefully giving you a little bit of a slice of life in Japan, as well as some DJ vlog stuff and some record digging trips around, well, basically around Japan, because that's always what I've wanted to do with this channel, is show you sort of the record culture that exists in Japan, because this really is vinyl heaven. There's a reason that a lot of the big vinyl collectors and DJs love coming to Japan, despite the fact that they always complain that it's ridiculously expensive over here. Though I can't imagine it's actually that much more expensive here than it is in Europe, but comment below, let me know what you thought about any of the records that I talked about in this video, and keep an eye out. I'll be definitely working on building Raw Select music more and more. I want to make this, I want to really turn this into something, so we'll see how everything turns out. But as always, I want to say thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll have a new video out on Monday. Until then, peace!